tables in Google Docs. You can make your tables in Google Docs, Microsoft Word. You can make them in PowerPoint, Sheets, Slides, Excel. So this is just the example for Google Docs. They're all very similar with some minor differences in editing. So for our first part of our lab, we had measured the pHs of unknowns A, B, C, D, and E. And we did it with pH paper and the pH probe. So this is the kind of table we would want to make. I suggest you hand draw your tables before you make them electronically, at least until you get used to how you want to make those. So we're going to come up here to insert table, and say I want to go, well, not really sure, so I make my table this big. When I'm making the table that big, I discover that, oh no, I've actually made too many columns because I only need 1, 2, 3 columns. So I can come here, go to edit, format, not edit, table, and delete column, and it will delete that for me. Okay. Now, I know in my header row, I need to have my unknown, because that was my independent variable. My dependent variables were the pH. Okay, and then, but I had 2 different pH measurements for my dependent variables. So I had the paper and the probe. So I'm going to make these 2, highlight both of them, and I'm going to merge them. Now, I don't really like how the pH is over here. I could just push it over, or I could select that and it'll center it for me. Great. Now I can put in my pH paper and my pH probe. As my 2 dependent variables. Now I can start putting in my unknowns over here, but I can see there's a problem because this first cell here has is where I would put A, but that's not going to line up with a place I can put data. So I can do the same thing here and merge those 2 cells, and now that cell is merged and I won't have to worry about it. I can also, while I'm right here, just fix these up so that they're both centered. It just cleans up your table a little bit. Great. So I can start putting in my unknowns. I've got unknown A, and I got unknown B, but now I realize I haven't made enough rows. All I have to do is come over here, just leave my cursor in that cell, come over here, and select this positive button to give me C, D, and E. If I realize, listen, I don't really need this large, I can slide this over a little bit and center that. Okay, and same thing up here. I don't really need everything to be that big, but if I do that, it messes it up. So my suggestion when you do this, don't try to fix it back over here, just hit Control Z. Sorry, Command Z, not Control Z. And that'll fix it for you. So maybe I want to slide this one over a little bit and this one over a little bit. There are ways that you can highlight the whole table and have all cells go to the same measurement if you want to explore that. Okay. Now that I have my table, I can then add in my data and whatever the data was. So it was a pH 8, and that probe was 7, so on and so forth. Just add your data in. If you want to highlight it again, messed up, so I'm gonna hit Command C, highlight it again, and center that. You can align it to the center. Once you've made a table, you can adjust it, you can add stuff to it, change the, say if you want to make your header row stand out a little bit, you can bold that. Now, in the second part of that section, you were going to guess if it was a sodium hydroxide or bleach, hydrochloric acid, dilute, vinegar, or whatever it was. And if you want to add something to your table, you can come over here, go up to Format, Table, and I can format table, and I can insert a column to the right. Okay. And now this is, I'm not going to have this is not going to be pH, so I don't want to merge these rows, but this would be something where maybe we want to put in format, table, we'll merge those, substance. And we can put in, well, we think this one was whatever we think it was. This was the, let's say we thought this was water. Okay, I know that wasn't one of them, but get the point. And as you come down, fill in your things, you can fill that. If you have to readjust something, like you want to make that bold also, you can do that.